VCAM and MyWebGrocer. This event wouldn't be possible without support from our great sponsors, Biotech, Champlain College, IBM, Keurig Green Mountain, Logic Supply, Merchants Bank, Middlebury, Interactive Languages, the Vermont Agency of Education, and the Vermont Technology Council, and the Vermont Technology Alliance. On behalf of Jam organizers 7 Days and the Tech Alliance, I'd like to welcome you to the Tech Tank presentation, organized by 7 Days and the Office of the Creative Economy. Now I'm going to turn over the mic to Emily, and Emily Piper is actually the Lake Champlain Regional Chamber of Commerce employee. She's the co-founder of Launch VT, and she's the executive director of the Burlington Young Professionals Group. Thank you.
All right. So I just want to say thank you guys for all being here. We're really excited about this panel today to talk about innovation in Vermont and these wonderful profiled Vermont companies. So without further ado, Julie did a great introduction. Again, my name is Emily Piper. I am the executive director for the Burlington Young Professionals and our newest initiative at the Lake Champlain Chamber, Launch VT, which is a business pitch competition. Very excited to kick off the panel today with MyWebGrocer. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome our first speaker with MyWebGrocer, Rebecca Roos. And she will be talking about kind of the innovation of what they do over at MyWebGrocer, turning an everyday thing into an innovative company. So let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
You're all set.
Great. So I'm Rebecca Roos. I work at MyWebGrocer, and I'm going to kind of walk you through the steps that MyWebGrocer has taken to get to digital nirvana. So I'll give you some ideas on kind of what MyWebGrocer does if you are not familiar with it. So what MyWebGrocer does is we're the digital connection that connects grocery shoppers to grocery stores and to food manufacturers. So anything in the digital space that has to involve with groceries, you've probably gone through our channel. That being said, full disclosure, I hate grocery shopping. It's the bane of my existence, and my husband and I like to play chicken to see how long we can go without actually grocery shopping, and I'm pretty sure that I am not alone. So I'm going to walk you guys through this story with MyWebGrocer and how we got to be where we are. And one of the things that happened was 14 years ago, Jerry Tarrant, he's one of our founders. There's 3 brothers. It's Jerry, Rich, and Brian. He had 4 young kids. And if anyone's gone to the grocery store with their children, you can probably relate, but times that 4. His wife said, hey, wouldn't it be great if you could shop for groceries online? And that was the light bulb moment. And he said, let's think about that. And so now we've got this problem. Now what do we do? Fix it. So 14 years ago, in the year 2000, that was kind of a baby in the internet world. This is still modems, this is AOL is king, and Amazon is selling books. But we went out there and took a risk and said, you know what, let's work on this online grocery shopping problem. Let's make it easier for people to get through the shopping. But the business model that was out there for online grocery shopping was something called WebVan. I'll use them as an example. And what they had done was they had created these big warehouses across the country in major cities, and they'd fill them with products, and then people would shop for them and then drive their truck to your door, which is great. However, Rich, one of the other brothers, said, you know what? There are thousands of warehouses across the country. They're called grocery stores. So there's no need to build this infrastructure. You work right with the grocery store. You fill and shop from their already products, and then people can either pick it up at the store or they can get it delivered. So that was a solution. So boom, we fixed that problem. Now what? You got to look for the opportunities. So again, when we first started out, online grocery shopping and online shopping itself was very small. So we didn't really want to limit ourselves to, because retailers were a little skittish too. Like, what if this whole online thing doesn't work out? So we needed to find some other opportunities and expand our revenue. Some of the other things that we did was grocery stores, every week they come out with these sales and they print them on paper. And sometimes, if you guys remember what newspapers are, they used to go inside the newspapers and get delivered. Well, we knew, and the retailers knew, that subscriptions were going down, readership for print was going down, but the need for sales were still there. So we expanded into what we call our planning mode, which means bringing the digital circular or the weekly ad into a digital format, adding a coupon section, adding recipes, adding shopping lists, deli, mobile phone, and also advertising. So if you think about advertising, why would Kellogg's want to advertise on CNN, which sometimes when you're reading about Ebola is not that appetizing? You probably want to go to a retailer's website and attract those people who are thinking about grocery shopping, who are planning and buying, and then advertise your Kellogg's cereals. That makes sense. So that was another revenue model for us. The other thing was looking at the recession. Well, the recession is at a brilliant time to be in grocery because everyone needs to eat. And this is where we really saw some of our business expand too, because more traffic was coming to our sites. People were looking for deals and how to stretch their dollar, looking for coupons. And those consumer habits still have stayed. People are still looking for the best deal, and they can find it at any time. They just go to their pocket and pull out their phone and see what the best deal is. So we make sure that our digital grocery partners have a voice along the way through that digital path to purchase at every viewpoint. So one of the things is the opportunities, and you don't have to leave Vermont. One of the brilliant things is that you don't have to go to Silicon Valley. You can stay right here in #Syrup Valley. The brilliant thing is that, Vermont, Ben and I were just talking, he's going to be speaking next. We were just talking about how Vermont attracts a certain type of people. These people are here to come and set roots down, and they want to stay here, but they want to stay here and make sure that they have career opportunities. So it's important to recognize and see the tech sectors that's here in Vermont right now, and see upcoming tech sectors growing as well. And one of the things is that, that's why MyWebGrocer has grown so fast. When I started 7 years ago, I was employee number 18. Now we're upwards of 300 worldwide, 200 here in Winooski. And the reason why is because we've got such a powerful workforce. People are excited to come into work. It's an exciting opportunity. We're growing. But there is, tech all around us. So not just looking at MyWebGrocer as an example, but if you look at Dealer, if you look at Fletcher Allen, the hospital, you don't think of them as a tech company, but they've got these really cool portals that you can go in and access your medical records. You can think of Stella May on Church Street. When they started, there was a void. There was not a great shoe store on Church Street. They saw that void, they filled it, and then they also have an online shopping component. So there's tech all around us, and you need to think about opportunities that are all around us. So, the steps that we've taken at MyWebGrocer are not unique. It's the same thing that Dealer did. They saw a void, they filled it, and saw opportunities. So the thing that I want to leave you guys with today is, anyone can do this in your own career, take the risks, take the opportunities. The real cool thing is that tech is changing and it's moving fast. So even if you're a little apprehensive and you don't think that maybe you have the skill sets that are needed at a tech company, you might. And let your own unique talents, guide you and guide your curiosity. So if you're not a programmer, that's okay. There's lots of space for you in the tech sector. I encourage you guys all to network and ask questions and let your curiosity guide you. And that's what I'd like to leave you with today. We do have questions at the end of the program, but if you guys want to think of something now. or just go ahead and clap. Thank you.
That went by pretty quick. Well, I was gonna say, I'm pretty excited to introduce our next company. We're gonna be working with and letting Ben Kinnaman talk, and he's from Greensea Systems, and talking about a great experience that they do with NOAA and mapping the ocean floor. So come on over. How do we get to the next one? Oh, arrow keys. There you go.
Good afternoon. My name's Ben. I'm with Greensea Systems, located in Richmond, Vermont. And I'm going to give an overview of a program that we did with NOAA and the ROV systems on board the Okeanos Explorer. And I will explain what both of those are as we go. So a little bit of background on us. Greensea is located in Richmond. We were founded in 2006, and we identified an opportunity to provide offshore technology in Richmond because there was not currently a company doing that. So we filled that void, and so we are bringing offshore technology to Richmond and serving an often overlooked market there. Our primary focus of the business is control and navigation technologies for unmanned underwater vehicles. We base this on a very modular, powerful, open architecture software environment on which we build optimal control systems, inertial navigation products, and user interfaces. User interfaces that really optimize the workflow of ROV operators and offshore operators. So in short, on top of all that technology, really what we do, we don't build vehicles at our shop. Now, we have, and we've built some other really bizarre things in our shop, like a buoy. If you go by our booth today, we have a big buoy out there. So we have built, but we don't build vehicles. We just make them better. That's what our software does. So a lot of people don't know this, but the United States has a ship named the Okeanos Explorer. It's a NOAA vessel, and it's the first asset since Lewis and Clark to have the sole charter of exploration. So all this ship does is roam around and explore. It has no other mission at all. So from February to October of every year, it's on continuous scientific expeditions to just explore the ocean floor. And it does that with 2 ROVs. So when we start thinking about what a monumental task it is to explore the world's oceans, we have to keep in mind the scale of the problem that we're trying to tackle here. So I love this little info thing. This is from the website XKCD. And it's a to-scale representation of the world's oceans and lakes. So right up here, these are the Great Lakes. So Lake Champlain's kind of in there somewhere, right, in terms of depth. These little blobby jobs that you probably can't see from there, these are the deepest diving depths of the world's nuclear submarines, right? Just kind of splashing around and getting wet in the whole scheme of things. This is Deepwater Horizon. So a few years ago, during this debacle down in the Gulf of Mexico, everybody watched day after day after day as the media hammered it into us. The reason these vehicles underwater were just so inept at capping this well is because it was really deep. Fine, it was really deep. But here's the Titanic. This is the bow and the stern of the Titanic. This is this plane, and this is where the ROVs off the Okeanos Explorer go. So they're rated to 6,500 meters, and there's 2 ROVs, and the way it works is really awesome. So this is the Okeanos Explorer, not to scale. It's not the size of Lake Huron. And the umbilical comes down, so these are tethered vehicles, right? So the umbilical comes down out of the ship, it goes into Sirius, which is the first ROV. And this is the hard umbilical, triple armor, right? Big job. And the idea is that as the Okeanos Explorer rides the sea, Sirius does the same thing. Sirius is kind of going up and down and up and down and up and down. Sirius is the size of, from me to the end of the stage, and it looks like a coffin. It's got a bunch of thrusters and lights and sensors all over it. Then this is Deep Discovery, or D2. It's the 6,500 meter rated ROV, primary ROV on the ship. It's connected to Sirius on a soft tether, soft flexible tether. And the idea here is that as these two guys are going up and down and up and down, D2 stays completely unaffected. So it's entirely decoupled from the rest of the system, right? D2 is about 10,000 pounds. I can walk under the lighting panel of D2. I can get inside of it with my laptop to work. I mean, this is a beast. It's like the size of a conversion van. So NOAA upgraded both of these to make them better suited for science and exploration. This is the fantail of the Okeanos Explorer. You see Sirius there, you see D2 going out overboard. And the way that you launch this thing is a total calamity, but it works. I mean, getting two vehicles on and off a ship and sea is no joke. So NOAA selected Greensea to upgrade the control and navigation systems on these vehicles. And we did just that. We put in our control system, which is called Balefire. It's built on our software library called OpenSea. So we put in the control. And the control for these guys is really all about enabling science and exploration. So the takeaway from these vehicles, the products, I mean, they're not drilling oil wells and they're not salvaging shipwrecks. They're down there for video and pictures and imagery and science and placing probes very, very, very precisely. You know, imagine going 20,000 feet down. The next time you're flying in an airplane, think about this. 20,000 feet down and placing something to the centimeter of where you're supposed to place it. There's no GPS underwater either. That's why we have a job, okay? This is a hard thing to do. And that's where the navigation comes in. So we develop an inertial navigation system. And maybe next year I'll give a talk on what an inertial navigation system is. It fuses a whole bunch of sensors together to give you an idea of, and that's kind of the optimal word there, idea of where the vehicle is. I mean, we can narrow down our idea, but it's still kind of just a wag. We think it's dumb. And then we have an operator interface. So the operator interface for NOAA was really cool. It was really challenging because they have a telepresence system that connects the ship to the rest of the world. And they have, there's 4 operators on board that operate the vehicle at one time. So you've got a pilot, a co-pilot, a sonar person, and a navigator. And then you've got a back row, and the back row is kind of like the peanut gallery, except they're running science payloads and mission-specific payloads. They're the mission specialists. They're the ones kind of doing all the backseat driving. There's like 7 or 8 of those. Then you've got this telepresence connection to the outside of the world, where you have any scientist out there who's involved in that expedition running in real time with the navigation and control of these vehicles 20,000 feet down, up in the North Atlantic, 1,000 miles offshore, participating in real time of exploration and science in areas that have never been visited before. It's an awesome, awesome problem. So we delivered the control. Boy, that's a terrible, man, you should see my screen. This picture is unbelievable. So we delivered this. The system has been in the field now for 2 years. It's done 2 field seasons and it's done like 12 expeditions. This is a picture, believe it or not, of D2 taken from Sirius, looking down, exploring some corals in the North Atlantic on one of the seamounts, the Kelvin Seamount up off the Grand Banks. It's a little bit better. It's a picture of a coral that's like, I don't know, 15,000 feet deep or something. It's amazing. This coral has never been seen by human beings before. And all these squishy things, I don't know what they are. I'm an engineer. I kind of leave off on the squishy bit. Here's another picture of D2 looking down from Sirius. So one of the cool things about Sirius is that it's fully instrumented. It's got a broadcast quality Ikigami, huge whammer jammer HD camera on board with this tremendous lighting spread that presents a light that is, you know, like sunlight temperature. And it just kind of hangs out all the time, like, you know, 100 feet above D2, so you can watch D2 and you can see what it's doing. You can collect some awesome shots. This is an octopus. And so to give you an idea, so this octopus is a wee little guy. You know, this isn't Jules Verne kind of octopus. This is a little tiny guy. And the vehicle is station keeping above the seafloor very precisely so they can zoom in with the camera and get this kind of video. And all these pictures are taken as still frames out of the high-def video. And if you come by our booth, we've got some of the high-def video running. It looks better than this. Here's another picture that you can't see, but I'm enjoying the view of. It's a picture of D2 checking out some bits of an ancient lava flow that came out of this mountain they found out in the middle of nowhere. And this is a fish. Are there any questions? I would take questions at the end too, but I'll stop here a little bit shorter in case there are any questions. All right then. Thanks.
All right. All right, and without further ado, for our first part of this segment, we're going to be wrapping up with our next speaker, so Mark Heyman, with Logic Supply. So I think what's really great to talk about Logic Supply is the fact that they really encourage their employees to tinker around and really get engaged in what they're doing in their actual office. So I'm going to let Mark take it from here and talk about what they do at Logic Supply. So big round of applause.
Thank you, ladies. I just got to do a couple of things. Shove that in my pocket. Stick this somewhere where I can get to it when I'm going to talk about it. Awesome. And pull out a sweet computer that I will show you at some point. Right on. Thank you so much for coming. I think I actually have the fun topic up here, and actually, as you can see from sort of because I get to actually talk about what motivates the speakers that came before me and the speakers that will come after. So we're going to start with that picture. We're talking about the tinkerer workshops that we do. Now I'll start a little bit high level and we'll get there. But basically, what I'm talking about is passion for technology. Okay? What is passion? Okay, passion is one of those words that a lot of people use, a lot of businesses use all the time, right? The dictionary definition, let me give it to you really in a very passionate way. An intense desire or enthusiasm for something. And I say it that way because basically passion is one of those words that gets overused. It's a buzzword. It's jargon. It tends to lose its meaning over time. Okay? And by the way, we're like everybody else. We use it. Okay? It's all over our website. We want to hire people with a passion for technology. Well, I want to work with people with a passion for technology. So what is it? Okay, the dictionary doesn't do it justice, frankly. Passion's a feeling. Passion is something that you may not be able to put your finger on it, but you know it when you see it. Okay? I bet most of us who are sitting in this room right now would feel a little emptier in their lives if we weren't surrounded by technology. Okay? In my mind, passion is that you have passion for things that you yearn for, that make you more fulfilled. It's if you don't have it, you're a little emptier than if you did. Okay? And this is one of the robotics students from the Essex Robotics Club that we sponsor. And honestly, I have no idea what he's holding, what he's touching, what he's doing. But let me tell you, just by looking at the picture, the kid's got a passion for technology. And that's exciting, okay? So, why is passion so important to companies? Why do we insist on using these words, overusing these words, and whatnot? Very simple, okay? You might have think this is a Steve Jobs quote. I was kind of surprised to be reminded because I probably knew it one day, but Confucius said it 4,000 years ago or so on as well. Human beings are better, generally speaking, at doing things that they love to do. How many hours a week do we spend at work? Okay, how many hours a week do we spend at school, if you're still in school? More time, more hours than we spend with our friends and family, that's for sure. Okay, imagine how miserable we would be if we had to spend that much time doing something we did not have a passion for on some level. okay? So we asked ourselves, great, we want to work with people, we want to hire people with a passion for technology. How do we get there? How do we find those folks? There's sort of a short-term and a long-term piece to this. Short-term, we can connect with those folks, we can uncover it, we can identify it. In the long term, we can try to foster it. We can try to grow it. There's a great closing segment first off, right? Sort of that undefined challenge to everybody. It's fantastic. And we've got short and long-term goals at Logic Supply. We want to connect with like-minded techies, okay? Right on our website. Got Tinkerer's DNA? We think it's one of those things. I don't know how to define it. We sort of said it's at the genetic level. It's either in you or it's not, okay? And long-term, we want to do something that is going to inspire, that's going to foster, that's going to develop a community of tinkerers, of makers, look at this event. This is sort of the culmination of so much of what we're all really talking about. We're in search of people with that DNA, and basically we came up with, and one thing, we said we're going to put on these workshops, okay? And our workshops are all sort of centered around the Beagle Bone Black, okay? By the way, sweet little microcomputer, okay? It's an ARM-based single board computer, small, easy to program, very versatile for just about anything you might want to do or tinker with. Full disclosure, we're not so altruistic. We get some awareness out of this. We get our name out there. We do sell these things, okay? So there's some money to be made. But frankly, this is less than 1% of our revenue. That sweet looking, awesome, fanless, embedded computer is how we really make our money and do our stuff. So we're not out there doing these Tinkerer workshops to drive the bottom line, okay? We're really we want to connect with some folks, okay? The products we design and that we sell, the money we make and whatnot sort of has very little to do with the workshops, but it's how we connect with folks. And it's an initiative we took on to make sure we're playing in this space and that people know we're playing in this space and there's opportunity. And so we can support ourselves and MyWebGrocer and Greensea Systems. I mean, geez, the engineer who gets to live in a state like Vermont and tinker around with stuff like he just showed you, it's wild, wild, wild. So let's talk about these are just some of the classes that we've done and whatnot, but I want to kind of give you a sense of what we're talking about. Richard St. Pierre, meet Richard, okay? One of our senior design engineers, and frankly, we didn't hire him because of his 30 years experience at IBM. We hired him because he's had a soldering iron on his nightstand for the past 35 years in case he wakes up in the middle of the night because he can't sleep and has to solder something? Yeah, yes, that's why he's us. That's why he's our people, okay? That's why he's with his son at the Maker Faire last year and why he was with him at the Maker Faire this year. Playing, it's pure play. We think our community, however you define community, is better with somebody who's had a soldering iron on his nightstand for 30 years. Meet Rod Hill, okay? Our community is a better place, is a more fun place with somebody who builds a Morse code transceiver ham radio thingy out of an Altoids tin. A little board, throws a 40-foot wire over a tree when he's camping, attaches a Morse code thingy just so he can chat with a guy in Ohio while he's hiking somewhere in Vermont just to see if he can. He's actually hit folks in Antarctica. He's hit folks in Czechoslovakia. He comes in literally like, the conditions were great, and I ended up talking to a guy, I made contact talking to a guy in Texas last night. That was awesome. Like, if we're gonna have a problem, that's the guy I want solving it. He's got the DNA, right? It's not just the engineers. Anna is in sales, making the light go on, okay? Kim, our bookkeeper, making and light going on. Functionally speaking, there's Richard right now. Functionally speaking, okay? Regardless of your role at Logic Supply. if you don't have a passion for technology, you're not going to stand on a stage, make a fool out of yourself wearing this kind of a hat and be totally cool with it, because this is actually cool. It's got nothing to do with what I do in my job every day as the human resources director. But it makes me get out of bed because I get to work with folks like this, okay? It's really, I keep coming back to sort of our community is a better place with folks who get inspired by this, who are motivated by technology. And inspiration is sort of a funny thing, right? The first step in the workshop that we do is literally just figure out how to make the light go on. That's it, okay? Light bulb moment. LEDs are not bulbs. Richard has been very clear with me. Do not say make the light bulb go on, because it is not a bulb, it is LED technology, and I totally get it. But we are talking about, we want to create opportunities for those light bulb moments, okay? Inspiration by definition is nothing you can plan for. It happens. I can't tell you that next Tuesday at 9:30 a.m., after I get out of my meeting, I will have an epiphany and cure cancer. I can't do that, or have an epiphany and solve the problem. It's going to happen when it happens. So what do we do? What does this have to do with the workshop? Because that's actually what we're really talking about. Well, what's in our control? If I can't plan for inspiration, what can I do? I can create or be part of a community that creates an environment where inspiration can happen. Okay? That's what we can do. We can provide an open environment to think about things that you might not know you can do. Okay? We're doing this through our workshops and a few other things, but ultimately, we want to engage with people in different ways. It's not about looking at an org chart and figuring out how to solve the problem. It's not about a traditional classroom environment saying that is the only way to learn, to be inspired, to figure something out. At Logic Supplies, and I think any other good company, as problems come up, what you want folks to be thinking about is, well, what can I do to solve it? What can I do? I'm in HR. Okay, when I took my first workshop with this, I think Richard actually got a pretty good kick out of the fact I was the first one that made the light go on, jumped up, yelled bingo. I was racing with everybody else, and I mean, it was cool. All I did was make a little light go on, but I followed the instructions, and I went there. And frankly, the truth is, if you've never made the light go on, how do you know you can? Okay, now that's broad statement, right? But one of my favorite quotes, actually, we have this in the bathroom of my son's bathroom, because I think it is an inspirational quote. What would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail? Now, I don't fear failure. If you're going to fail, fail fast, but don't be afraid to try something. Okay, it's not about avoiding failure. It's about creating an environment, doing something where you can let people try something. I love undirected research, right? We've helped parents and kids in workshops make the light go on. We've helped 30-year experienced mechanical engineers who've bent sheet metal make the light go on. You see the same kind of passion. If you got that DNA, you see what happens when the light goes on. And so I kind of want to close today. I think it's actually a very similar challenge. That's why I love being around folks like this. You end up talking about very different things, all saying the same thing. It's really good. We're doing the workshops and a bunch of other things. What are you going to do? I want to throw down a gauntlet. What are you going to do to inspire creativity, to inspire passion in what you're doing or what other people might do? What can you do to inspire innovation, to think differently, to help our community be open to possibilities they don't know exist or don't know what the problems are going to be? Our workshops don't give any of these answers, but they will make you ask a million questions, and that's actually the whole point of it all. So what are you going to do? What are we going to create? What can all of us do to sort of spark that passion in ourselves and those around us and help? There was something. Click the back ones. Anyway, yeah, there's something there. I forgot. It's just a question mark. In fact, because that's where I wanted to leave you. Was only the next question, not any answers. That's what we're doing with our workshops, and I guess
There's
we'll
a
take
video on
questions.
that slide. If you tap
Is-
that black box with the mouse,
Oh,
the trackpad.
is there?
Yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
What? Wow. All right.
You have to actually, yeah.
Oh, this is what Logic Supply does. Sure. Always happy to. Do we have time?
It's short. But
It's short.
the audio's not.
And the audio doesn't. It's much cooler with the audio. We do a bunch of stuff. Actually, what's cool about Logic Supply, talk about inspiring. What's cool about Logic Supply is not what our stuff is about.
Security and surveillance, manufacturing.
It's about what our customers can do with our stuff. That's the story. We enable smart technology. We enable different applications. We're not building the mining vehicle 3 miles below the surface of the earth that needs a computer like this to monitor the what's it and do the what's it. We're not building the ROV that's miles beneath the sea, but we're part of the technology stream that lets our customers do that. So that's a little bit about what this says. Anyway, I'll wrap up. So. Thank you, Richard.
Don't go too fast.
No.
Because we're gonna be inviting everyone back up here because we have about 10 to 15 minutes for questions for the originally 3 panelists before we move on to our next 3 speakers. So Rebecca and Ben, if you could come up here as well. And what I'll do is I'll kind of kick it off, but this is open for the audience. But whenever you guys answer a question, feel free to come to the mic to answer it for everyone out here. But I think Mark had a really great point, and just a quick thing from you guys too. Everyone always asks that question, why Vermont? And I think it's really a good point right now to really kind of answer for each of you. So for you guys personally, why are you here? And why are you part of these companies?
Wow, that's a big question. I'm here because I went to UVM and I stayed. Actually, I decided I wanted to stay. I then went to law school down in Boston, then came right back up. It's where I wanted to be. And by hook or by crook, I was going to figure out what to do after I figured out where I wanted to be. And, I was like, well, I can begin my legal career down in Boston, make more money probably, and wish for the next 5 to 10 years I could get back to Vermont sometime, or I could make that call first. I fell into tech really with Logic Supply when I became a consultant and doing some other stuff. But I think we're all here to some extent because this is where we want to be, and the rest will come later. So that's my answer. But yeah. Same answer for Logic Supply, by the way. Lisa wanted to come home.
I thought Logic Supply went to law school.
Logic Supply did not go to law school. That was a Mark Heyman statement. Sorry.
For MyWebGrocer, we were pretty lucky. The founders were born and raised here, and this is where they wanted to be. So, and they grew the company here. I mean, there's other places to grow, but I feel really fortunate that they stayed here in their backyard and grew it here. And we're still growing. We have offices, throughout the state, and one in South America and in Europe, and but we're really happy to be here in Vermont. We just bought the Champlain Mill a couple years ago and renovated that, and it's a beautiful building, and it's a great workspace, lots of natural light, and it's lovely. Why I'm here is I convinced my husband that we should start a family, and we were living in Seattle, and I got a job opportunity at Burton. And then after I had all my kids, my position at Burton was moving out to Southern California, and I did not want to raise my kids there. So luckily, MyWebGrocer was around, and at first I was really scared because their website was horrid, and it just did not have a good vibe, and I was like, what am I doing? But I knew I wanted to be in technology because that's what I was doing at Burton, working on the digital marketing. And I thought, where are the jobs? Do we really have to move from Vermont to find something that I want to do? And I was lucky to find MyWebGrocer.
Actually, can I do my plug for Logic Supply? Because it is a very similar story. Lisa, one of our owners, is originally from Barry, and she and her husband Roland moved back to be closer to family, wanted to start a business, and lo and behold, they figured out that Vermont would be a great place to start a custom computer systems hardware company, and grew it from 3 people to now we are expanding our new building. We're going from 15 to 36,000 square feet. We're headquartered here, but we also have locations in Europe and Taipei, out in Taiwan, but we're really committed to being here, growing like crazy, and it's because we want to live here and we feel we can be successful here. And it's a very similar, I think the motivation sort of why the companies are here are probably pretty similar. So that's my company plug. Ben, sorry.
Well, my story isn't very different than their stories. I founded Greensea, so my personal story is the company story. My wife and I were living in Washington, D.C., and I was working inside the Beltway in Washington, doing this type of work. I was designing. I was running an engineering department that developed very, very specialized deep ocean vehicles, and I pitched to them the concept of an open architecture control system and navigation system with a very comprehensive blah, blah, blah. You don't care about that. I pitched them a really cool idea, and they taught me the very best lesson I've ever learned in business, and that was no, it's not what we do. It sounds like an awesome idea, but no, it's not for us. So I resigned, and I went home, and I told my wife over dinner that night, I said, hey, look, we've kind of been talking about living elsewhere. We can now because I'm unemployed. And so good news. So we are not from Vermont originally. We had been coming up here for years and really liked it. On the way home the minute that I was told no, I knew that I was going to start a company. So it coincided with my wife and I wanting to start a family, and we like this area a lot. We've been coming here for years. Not particularly to Chittenden County, but I liked it because of the lake. I knew that we could base an underwater technology company here with the outlet of the lake for testing and operations locally, which, by the way, is an awesome test site. And it was close to the airport. My wife was looking at a faculty position at UVM or Dartmouth, so we liked the UVM opportunity. So in a nutshell, it's a great place to raise a family and raise a business, I suppose. And why Richmond particularly? When we were growing the business, we decided that if we were going to make a substantial investment in a community, it should be our own community. And so we did it in the town that we live. And we purchased the old corner market in Richmond, the old meat market, and we've renovated it into a really sweet engineering space. It's got room for us to expand for the next few years. And so our commitment is to continue to grow right there in Richmond, in Vermont. Yeah.
So I'm one of the faculty technology people in the region and would like to have your insights on whether we should be training our students in engineering and computer science for particular skill sets, or whether you are open to training based on potential. I'm not asking you to choose which is the better institution in the region, but what kind of insights can we, what can we do to make your businesses more viable by what we do with our students?
I'll go first.
Sure.
Right. Session's half the battle, right? Well, at the risk of hurting any feelings here, I think, and this is a soapbox, I think that I do have some preferences. I think some local institutions are doing some things a little bit, in my opinion, better than other institutions, but I think by and large, engineering education, I'll say in the States, in the United States, but I think particularly locally, is letting students down. And I think it's letting I think it's also letting a tremendous opportunity go by for students and for the community. If you go outside the United States, engineering education requires a co-op. There is a tremendous tie to real-world application. So I approach this from the position of owning a technology company that specializes in technology you do not learn in school. Now, granted, you can learn the physics of what we do in school. You can learn the engineering and the math and the science and that kind of thing. But as an example, we have very few engineers by training working at Greensea. We've got a lot of physicists, and we have math, and we have history. The point being is that we're in robotics, and you don't learn robotics in school. You learn core principles, and then you apply in the robotics world. That application only comes through interaction and practical application. And for students, that means co-op, and that means internships, and that means motivated faculty with time and agendas and priorities to properly motivate and support students working inside the community to receive in situ education. So, and yes, Greensea is really open to it. We have a really extensive community outreach and education effort at even our little company. We have 2 interns at the company now. We always have interns kicking around. We have co-ops. We sponsor. We're way into it, and I think it's vitally essential. And I think that, no exceptions. Everybody could do a lot better.
Any other responses from
I'm gonna echo what Ben says. Is it's internships are very valuable, and giving the students an opportunity to see what we're working on, and also to Ben's point about getting somebody saying no, to know what you don't want to do as well. That's a great opportunity. But to have that edge and have that real world practicality is really pushing that through. Is super helpful for us when we look for employees, and you can't help it. But when we started the hackathon a few years ago, and we really wanted to target college students, and we had to go outside of Vermont because there just wasn't a lot of computer science majors, and it's nobody's fault. It's just how it is, and I think that. If we could start this interest earlier, what Logic Supply does, getting people involved in creating and encouraging their creativity and curiosity. I think getting kids involved younger is really important, and getting them exposed to that and seeing what's possible. Go Minecraft.
I'm just going to say ditto. And my own 2 cents, I tell every engineering professor, advisor, everything, put as much emphasis on the business as you can. And I tell every businessy type, get that broad exposure to technology as well. At a very high level, we're a hardware company, so that's sort of our focus from a product point of view. We have software developers. We're all struggling to hire software developers for sure. I know that in this state and whatnot, but the importance of how to think, how to interact with folks. Our developers do their own requirements gathering. There are no people who translate from this set of people to that set of people. It's, go downstairs, learn internal audits from the CFO like you're an accountant, then come back up and code with a purpose. Because the point isn't to code. The point is to solve a business problem. Figure out what's going to happen 3 miles under the ocean, and understand understand how it's going to fill a need, not only how to solve the technical problem. Because throw enough engineers at anything, I know you can solve the problem. Will it be practical? Will we get something of it? Will it solve the need that's there? Or is it just to explore, which is also okay, but that's actually a very defined need that we've decided to embark upon. So I don't want to say the unintended or the unknown endpoint is not valuable, is not a need as well. But I think just that cross-pollination of different kind of skills and preparing kids for that. We always have interns. We never take the posting down. I always got 100 kids. I can say, do you want to come build computers? Can you code? Can you join our team? They get all paid, get real experience. And I know my fellow companies up here are doing the exact same thing. It's great to hear, but we could all do better on that front.
All right. We do have time for one more quick question. If anyone has any burning questions for these guys, if anyone has anything left. All right. If not, for right now, guys, would you come up here and tell us how the best way for people to reach you for follow-up questions for themselves?
Honestly, for the next couple of days, stop by the booth. That's one thing. We're all here for a reason. But overall, jump online. If you're interested in applying for a job or curious, submit an application. We put contact information. You can see my smiling face on our careers page. Send us an email. We're not a black hole. I actually take great pride in that from an HR point of view. I guarantee you a response. But we're always happy for inquiries. Is there a way we can engage with students? I know we, want a tour, we will figure out when it can happen. That sort of thing. So really just reach out, either apply online, don't stop by, apply online, or shoot us an email, and we will follow up.
Yeah, I would encourage anyone that's curious about MyWebGrocer, if you wanted to do an informational interview or learn more, you can contact me with my email, which is rroose@mywebgrocer.com. So it's roose, not moose, at MyWebGrocer.
If anyone wants to get a hold of me, career, learn more about offshore industry, how awesome of an industry it is and what great people are involved, or the path into offshore technology, just right through the website. Please, we have a booth back there. You can find it if you go towards the only meteorological buoy on the floor. So I'm there all day today. Somebody from Greensea will be kicking around. I think the rest of the shop's coming up sometime today or tomorrow. There'll be lots of folks kicking around in these sweet green shirts. And then right through the website. So careers go straight to me. It's the internet. The internet.
Well, thank you for these first three panels. We'll start off the next round. All right, and with keeping things on schedule and moving right along, really excited to announce this next company. So Justine Regal is going to come in and speak about Green Mountain Digital and the fact that they've created this amazing outdoor app that I think everyone out there with their adventure bug is going to really enjoy this. So we'd really like to welcome her to the presentation right now. Thank you, Justine.
Hi everyone, I'm Justine Regal. I'm the marketing director at Green Mountain Digital, the creator of Yonder. I'm actually originally from Pennsylvania, Flatlander, but I came up to school here and I went to Champlain College and I graduated in 2010 with a degree in public relations and marketing. And I was really excited that I got to stay in Vermont and go down to Woodstock, Vermont and join the team at Green Mountain Digital. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our company history and how we got to Yonder. And just a little bit of background. So we are the creator of the Audubon Field Guide apps. We're the #1 publisher of these apps in North America. We have over 30 apps in the iTunes store and Android and for Amazon. And it all started, two of our co-founders had the digital rights to these field guides. So I'm sure some of you remember what these books look like. They're really heavy. They're really, a lot of great content, but as backpackers and hikers know, every ounce in your pack is very valuable. And carrying, 4 to 5 of these books wasn't really, an ideal situation. So we took that content, and this was around the time of the iPhone and the App Store, we took that content and made them into a digital app. And birders, especially, really like their life lists. They like to keep track of their species sightings. So we thought, okay, why don't we take that content that people are sharing and creating and turn that into a community, make a community, and that's how NatureShare came about. So we started out making apps and then turned that into a community. And so we're all in Vermont. We all really like getting outside. We thought, how do we take that community and turn it into not just for species and bird watchers, how do we make a community for everyone who likes to get outdoors? So that's kind of where Yonder comes in. And so we founded Yonder, we created the app a little over a year ago, and it's all about sharing your outdoor adventures to a community of people who are interested in the outdoors. And our mission at Yonder is to inspire and enable a love for the outdoors. And that word love was really contentious the first time we came up with this. You know, love is a very strong word, but that's really what we're passionate about. And I know passion, we throw that around a lot. One of the previous presenters mentioned that, but we really do have a passion for exploring, especially our own state of Vermont. We really wanted to make it easy for people to get outside and explore their own backyards. So Yonder is first and foremost a social network. You can discover and share different experiences, photos and videos, and also places. We're building our own database of outdoor destinations, and we could have pulled from, Foursquare, but we really wanted our database to be all about the outdoors. We didn't really want, bars and restaurants. We really wanted those outdoor destinations to be really specific. And our community that we're building is really as passionate as we are. They love getting outside. They love sharing where they've been. And that's kind of how we use that passion with our users. We have a group of people called ambassadors. We've talked to a lot of our users, tried to, get information about what they were using the app for, features they wanted to see, and they really loved our mission. They wanted to help support us. And being a startup, we didn't have a huge budget for marketing and advertising. So we thought, how can we use these users who are as passionate as we are to spread our message? So we came up with an ambassador program. So they're kind of on the ground, grassroots, sharing our passion, our mission, and really sharing, the community of Yonder. And it's really cool when that community, you meet someone in real life that is actually using the app. And one of our ambassadors out in Colorado, Audrey, was wearing a t-shirt and she was hiking, and two people came over and said, "Hey, are you on Yonder? Like, I see your t-shirt." And they whipped out their water bottles, they had stickers, and they said, "We're on Yonder too." And she was like, "That's so awesome. Like, I'm an ambassador." They were talking about their favorite hikes in Colorado and, sharing tips on the cool places to go and must-see spots. And she was really excited that, she was just hiking, and two people came up and started talking to her, and she loved that. She took that online relationship to the real world. And that's really what we want to do. We want to really provide that inspiration to get people to start planning their adventures, to get them outside. And there are a lot of social networks out there. You can share all your photos and videos, but there's a lot of noise. It's not all focused on the outdoors. And actually, this is another one of our ambassadors. She's super cool. She's super inspirational. But I don't necessarily want to see her selfie in a coffee shop. They're filled with, Facebook and Instagram. There's latte art, there's selfies, and there's definitely a time and place for that. But when I want to be inspired to go explore something new and go on an adventure and go see something new, I don't go to Instagram, I go to Yonder. And Yonder is really built for that adventure. All of our activities, whether it's a photo or video, they are tagged with an activity, and up to 3. So you can be hiking, you can tag it with biking, climbing. So you can filter our experiences by these activities. So say you want to go mountain biking and you want to see what kind of trails, you can see all our photos, in a range of just biking. And not only are they activity tagged, but they're geolocated. So say you're in Vermont and you're like, I need to go find a new mountain biking trail. You can use the app and say, oh, that's a really cool photo, and get directions right to that spot. And they're also geolocated at all of our places, so you can get directions to go, hey, I want to check out a state park. You can get directions right there. It's really, makes it easier for people to find where you can go outside, not just, oh, here's a cool photo, and no information on how to get there. The other cool thing about being a startup from Vermont is that we're reaching people all over the world. It's not just people in Vermont, it's people, sharing adventures all over. Actually, over 20% of our content comes from outside the United States. And you can't see it here, but we actually just had an ambassador. His name's Eric Larson. He's a polar explorer. He just finished an expedition earlier this spring. he walked to the North Pole for 42 days. Him and his friend, they were an unassisted trek to the North Pole. And not everyone in this room is gonna get to do that trek. So the cool thing about Yonder is he was able to take his photos, and using his GPS and satellite, he was able to upload them to Yonder as he was walking. So you could see each day where he was, what type of ice he was seeing, whether the polar bears were chasing him that day, where they were camping, and you could follow his adventure. And it's great to see that type of content because not all of us are gonna be able to go on crazy expeditions, but that content could inspire you to go, maybe go ice climbing or go try something new that you never would have done. And Yonder, it's not all just extreme. It's not all people going to the North Pole or, climbing Yosemite. It's also to inspire people who maybe don't get outside all of the time. We have another ambassador, her name's Kimmy. She's from the Midwest, and she was just looking through the App Store for a photography app. She really liked photography. She found Yonder, she downloaded it, and her first few photos were really just of the flowers in her backyard. They were beautiful, but they weren't really that awe-inspiring, oh, I need to go visit this place, or I need to go do that. And so as she started getting comfortable with the community, she started, asking people, hey, how do I go hiking? How do I start? Like, what shoes do I need? What gear? And the community, really rallied behind her and said, get these shoes. Here are some packs that I like to use. Here are some good trails. And they really helped her kind of get going. And she went from taking photos in her backyard of flowers to flying last month to Arizona for a meetup to Antelope Canyon and Horseshoe Bend. So having this woman who had never been hiking to go from, posting flowers to now going to meetups across the country. And that's our team. We're really excited to be part of this Tech in Vermont, a small startup. We're in Woodstock, Vermont. We're building, apps and really hoping that we can inspire people to go outside and try something new. And I encourage everyone to download it. It's free, iOS and Android. And you can follow me. I'm @Justine. Yeah.
All right, and moving right along, I'm really kind of excited to introduce our next speaker. And this is Justine Krebs, and she is with, she is with Vermont Information Processing. So definitely here to kind of talk about the different parts about being an employee-owned company, which I think a lot of us kind of admire here in the Vermont ecosystem. So welcome, Justine. Thank you. All right, and round of applause.
Thank you, Emily. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of Vermont Information Processing today, more commonly referred to as VIP, a little bit easier. It's a nice acronym. My name is Justine Krebs. I've been at VIP for 9 years now. I started off as a software developer, and I actually currently manage a group of software developers that maintain and do new development on our core product at VIP. What is VIP? VIP is a software development company. We build applications for the beverage industry. The beverage industry is comprised of 3 tiers, the supplier, the distributor, and the retailer. VIP initially started off focusing their products on the distributor tier. The suppliers who manufactures the product, the wine, the beer, the spirits, the soda, the water, you recognize Magic Hat, Coors, Pepsi, the Budweisers. The distributor, they take the product from the supplier and get it to the retail accounts. You see large delivery trucks around the area, probably with supplier's logo on it. Those are the distributors delivering the product to the retailers. And then there's the retailers. This is where you would go to purchase your products, your gas stations, your Shaws, and any local bar around the area. As I said, we first started off in the distributor market only, but we've started to create software applications for supplier and for the retailer tier. For suppliers, the main thing we started off with is data collections and cleansing, and then in turn we can offer some analytic tools for them. For the distributor, we cover a wide array of different applications that help them with their daily needs from the route accounting system to sales and delivery mobile apps, warehouse management systems, and business intelligence tools. We're just starting to work with retailers. We offer an online order entry tool that helps them eliminate the need for the actual salesperson to go into the store every week. They can just know what they need, put it in the system, and it goes directly to the distributor to get the order into their system. Did I already go through the pictures, I guess? When did VIP become a company? In 1973, Howard Aiken founded VIP in Burlington, Vermont, right down on Main Street. And currently we're in Colchester, up on Water Tower Hill. We're in the process of building a new sister building that is connecting to our current building, which the pictures showed all the construction going on. We're actually about to move in a few weeks. We've completely outgrown the current building we're in. And so half of the employees are going to be moving over to the new building, which is pretty exciting. We have about 250 total VIP employees, 180 of which are locally here in Vermont. What's kind of unique is that the majority of all the local employees have either grown up here or gone to universities in here. We definitely look to hire local applicants in the Vermont office. Most of the remote employees have come through acquisition of other software route accounting systems that we've acquired over the last 15 years, and currently either move those customers to the VIP software or we've maintained the original route accounting system. We have customers all over the country. We currently have over 60% of the beverage distributors throughout the country, and we actually have a very large market share of the suppliers who we offer many applications to. Something unique to the company is that every year a ton of our customers come up to Vermont and see what Vermont's about, and they're actually all down at the Hilton right now. It's a 2 to 3 day seminar, and they can come learn about our products. They can actually put a face to who they've been on the phone with throughout the year. So we have about 450 customers right now down at the Hilton learning about our software, which is pretty unique. We take them out on Saturday, show them around Vermont and what's unique to Vermont, and or take them golfing or something. So, but what we wanted to talk to you, VIP wanted to talk to you about today is that we're a 100% employee-owned company. Being employee-owned means that you're a part of an employee stock ownership plan, an ESOP. In 2001, an ESOP was created at VIP, and 30% of the shares of the stock in the company were made available, and then they were distributed over the next 5 years. And more recently, in 2011, the other 70% of the shares in VIP were then sold to the plan. These shares will be distributed to the employees over the next 20 years. VIP is valued annually by an outside company, and the employee shares are valued accordingly. So with harder work from all the employees, we hope to increase these values, the share value each year. What the ESOP means to the company now that we're 100% employee-owned is that VIP pays no federal taxes. So all that extra money that you might pay to the federal government goes right back into the plan and to the bottom line, which is pretty unique. What it means to employees is that every dollar of profit we make goes back into the company. The employees receive new shares annually in a pre-tax retirement account, and that vests over the first 6 years of employment. All full-time employees are owners of the company. It helps us maintain a family feel to the company and helps us think about impact to the company when we make decisions on a daily basis. It also allows us to create working experience that fits the many different needs of all the different employees at the company. We have a large on-site workout facility. We're actually in the new building having a new one, which is about 4 times the size, so that's pretty awesome. We have a lot of people that take their breaks at lunch to exercise or play some kind of sporting activity. We offer discounted gym memberships, or we have a lot of VIP sports teams around the area, so we offer discounts for those as well. We have lunchtime basketball, biking, running, walking groups all around the area. We offer tuition reimbursement. And then one big benefit that we have decided as an employee-owned company to keep on-site is we have an on-site daycare. 9 years ago when I started at VIP, I had no idea what kind of benefit this would be. I had no kids at the time, but now my husband, who actually works at VIP, and we have 2 kids. So we all carpool in the morning. It's super convenient. We walk in, we drop our kids off, and then go up to our desk, and it's pretty awesome. Allows us to visit our kids throughout the day. In between meetings, you can stop down for 5 minutes or take your lunch and sit there with your kid and have their lunch. For me, as a mom, it was a much easier transition coming back from maternity leave. I knew I could see my kids throughout the day and didn't have to leave them for a 10-hour period. And one big thing about it is that VIP subsidizes the cost of the daycare. We all know how expensive daycare is. And so they help all the parents by subsidizing the cost and making it a little bit more reasonable for us to have our kids there. So that's just a few things that make us unique. So we encourage you to visit our booth upstairs or go to our website, vtinfo.com, and there's a careers email in there. So thank you.
Right. And it looks like we're already getting an early introduction to Mack Molding, but I'm excited to introduce Kevin Daly, who will be here talking about how they make things that are anywhere from medical devices to also milkshake machines. So please welcome Kevin. Looks like there might have been a slide in between.
There we go.
Go for it, Kevin.
Hi, everybody. First of all, it's frightening that I am speaking at a tech jam with my level of technological expertise, but I'll give it my best shot as long as nobody asks any tough questions. My name's Kevin Daly. I'm the Director of Human Resources at Mack Molding Company, and we are located in Arlington, Vermont. We have 3 manufacturing facilities in the state of Vermont, and we have, as of this morning, 600 employees. And we provide an array of services. We're a manufacturer primarily, but we provide sheet metal fabrication. We do metal machining. We do injection molding of plastic. And a lot of our competitors in the plastic arena do 1 or 2 types of injection molding. At Mack, we do regular injection molding, 2-shot molding, in-mold decorating, gas assist molding. We basically do every type of plastics molding there is. And then we also do full contract manufacturing. We build things. We don't build them, they're not our own proprietary products. They're actually built for other customers. And what I want to talk about today is a couple of the projects that we have. So, I'm proving my point here. Okay, which button do I push?
Keep going to the right arrow. There you go. Keep going, one more.
Oh boy. Okay, so my presentation is referred to as From Milkshakes to Medical Products. One of the things that we build is a product for a company called For Real, and it's a commercial blending machine. This is advancing automatically here, so. It's a commercial blending machine, and here's a picture of it right here. And this is a great product that can show all of the services we provide at Mack. In this picture, you can see the metal frame of this particular machine that we're manufacturing. It has 87 unique metal parts, and all of them are designed and built by us in our building. Okay. Also, this particular product has 27 machined parts, and we machine those parts right in the same building as well. Here's a picture further along in the assembly process of the same device, and you can see, if it stops, you can see it's quite complicated. In addition to the metal parts that we make and the machine parts that we make, we purchase over 300 parts to add into this product. And you can see there's a lot of electronic parts and electronic components to it. And in the background off to the right, you can see some hoses on a machine that's a little earlier on in the process. It actually has a lot of plumbing features. This particular machine actually self-sanitizes at the end of each day. And so it's very complicated. And then it goes through a lot of diagnostic testing. Here Diane is okay. Diane is doing a test on the machine. We have to test each machine that we build a few times, and in fact, every day at least once, we bring a couple of dozen milkshakes into our cafeteria for our employees to enjoy. Here's the final product just before the plastic skins go on, and I knew this was going to happen. We actually mold the plastic skins for this. So we actually build a lot of the parts right here in Vermont, and then we source over 300 parts, put the machine together, and then this is what it looks like when it's done. You may have seen these. They're in convenience stores. A lot of universities are purchasing them in their cafeterias. And it's called the For Real Milkshake Machine. Okay? I don't know if any of you have ever even seen one before, but they're really cool. They're all over the place. So you can imagine if we use a lot of engineers and a lot of technicians. We don't do a lot of like internet stuff. We build things, but we have a strong need for anybody with a technology background or an engineering background. We probably have over 50 engineers in our company and probably 20 or 30 technicians. Okay? Now, this particular product that I just showed you takes about 8 hours to build. It is very complicated for such a small product. We do order fulfillment, so when it's done, we ship it directly to a customer that our customer sells to. And the work instructions to put this together are dozens of pages long. And everybody who works on the assembly has to know every piece of it, and because we rotate our people around. But it's also supported by manufacturing engineers, process engineers, quality engineers, supplier engineers. There's a lot of background engineering skill sets needed in order to produce something this complicated. And at Mack Molding Company, we don't just compete regionally or nationally, we actually compete globally. And if you're going to compete at that level, you really have to have strong skill sets in your workforce. It's a very demanding environment. It's a great place to work, but we really have to put some sharp people in our positions, except for in human resources. So now, the next product I want to just talk about quickly is a medical device that we build. Now, that's the other half of our business. This is going on out on the same manufacturing floor. Okay, there you go. Medical device manufacturing is a whole different ballgame. We do clean room assembly, clean room molding. We're an FDA certified. We're ISO 13485 certified. You have to be at the top of your game in order to build medical devices. And there's class 1, 2, and 3 levels. Class 3 is the most complex level of medical device manufacturing, and we do that here in Vermont. It's extremely challenging. This particular product here, and I can't talk too much about it for 2 reasons. I don't know what I'm talking about, and also there are some confidentiality agreements involved. Okay, well, anyway. So this particular device, it treats T-cell lymphoma, and what it does is it takes blood out of your body and it runs it through a centrifuge, and then through photopheresis, I think it's called, treats the blood, and then it goes back into your body. This particular product has over 1,900 parts in it, and it has over 600 parts that are unique just to this one machine. All of them have to be custom designed. We have to source them all. We do make some of the parts. The ones that we don't, we source them. It takes 69 hours to make one, and then each one has to go through 27 hours of testing. And again, you can imagine the skill sets needed here in Vermont to build something this complex. There's great opportunities. There's the final product there on the right. That's what it looks like. Well, okay, I'll give up. So in our one building on the same floor, you have milkshakes being built over here and class 3 medical devices being built over there. And we need a lot of great skill sets, talented engineers and technicians to pull this off. There's a nice aerial photograph of our cute little facility down in Arlington. I'm trying to keep this short because I know we're running, well, there you are, we're running. So I'll stop for now and then we'll have questions later.
Yep, we're running a little late on questions, so we might be sending people to the Tech Tank website to also follow up with everyone because we still have dealer.com left. but we'll definitely get you guys the right resources for follow-up questions. But Kevin, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and as I just mentioned, we are running a little light for questions. So our last presenter of this presentation is actually going to be Alex Moore from dealer.com. So big round of applause, and also thank you to Kevin for presenting.
Hey, I'm Al Moore. I'm the brand manager for dealer.com and psyched to be here. I really didn't realize how many awesome homegrown tech firms there were here, so this has been a cool experience for me personally, and I'm here to talk a little bit about who we are, what we do, and most importantly, how we do it at dealer.com. So a lot of people here probably have a general sense of who we are. We've been here for about 15 years. But maybe you don't know the whole story. A lot like MyWebGrocer, we began in '98 with a few people who identified a market need, and that was how auto dealers could connect their cars with people who were shopping for them online. And if you bought a car in the last decade, you probably went to the web long before you went to a dealership showroom, and that has created a huge amount of opportunity for us, and we've grown quite rapidly, as a lot of you know, culminating last year in an acquisition by Dealertrack Technologies, went through officially in early 2014. But it's been a great partnership so far because Dealertrack Technologies is sort of a big fish in the automotive technology world, but mainly known for kind of back-end software that happens in the dealership itself. We're known for the technology that gets shoppers to the showroom itself. So as we've kind of merged with them, we're sort of owning the digital marketing aspect of this complete connected solution that we're hoping will transform the auto industry, make it easier to buy a car, make it more efficient for dealers to sell a car. You probably, if you bought a car recently, you probably spent several hours at the dealership negotiating a deal. It might have been a long, drawn-out process. We're hoping to make that process more transparent and smooth on the front end before you get to the dealership, and faster when you actually get to the showroom. So tremendous opportunity there for continued growth. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But I wanted to also carry you guys through a little bit about what specifically we build. We build platform-based software. We start with a website platform that connects shoppers with all the information that they need, and then we provide a back-end interface for dealers to be able to customize every aspect of their website and their automotive, vehicle merchandising, their chat interface, however they want to connect with their customers online. Recently we've been growing in the advertising space as well. So basically taking that inventory, those specials, incentives, offers, the vehicles that a dealer's trying to move, and push them across the web on display ads, paid search, social sites. And we back all that with killer customer support and service. We have on-site tech support. We have digital advisors who, guide our clients through the technology itself. We have managed SEO services. We have in-house designers that actually create artwork for the websites, design the sites, design the ads. So if you're interested in pursuing a customer service career, great opportunities at dealer.com. And all that adds up to a lot more growth. We currently have about 1,000 people here, but we hired 200 folks last year alone. We're continuing to invest in Vermont. We opened up another office right across the street from the big building that you might have already seen on Pine Street. We have 75 current openings. And we are continuing to invest in our culture and the way that we do things. And that is through a lot of collaboration, very much an entrepreneurial mindset that we still really have. We find a need and we fill it. We go for it and we ask questions or beg for forgiveness later. And we are fully invested in the health and wellness of all of our employees. And we hope that that energy that we bring spills over into our halls, into innovations, into collaboration, great ideas, and then also into the community. So our community involvement, we call it PEACE, stands for Planet, Eating Local, Arts and Culture, community, and employees. And really, you know, that's just a very, you know, kind of acute way of talking about investment in the local community. Very, very focused on Vermont, growing here, remaining here, plugging into the community life here, and supporting the things that we are passionate about in our outside interests, and fostering a culture of service, which manifests in employee action days, team activities in the community, a paid volunteer day benefit that every employee can take in addition to their paid time off, and just a lot of you know, enthusiasm for getting out there and doing, building, creating, innovating, and doing things inside the halls and outside the halls. And we're proud of the impact that we've made just in the last couple of years through that initiative. 66 community grants, close partnership with King Street, Spectrum, community artists, South End Art Hop, CCTA, and tech, you know, upcycling of outdated technology. So there's just a few of the things that we're doing, and we really are recommitting to doing that. So if you come and build your career at dealer.com, know that there's great opportunities to also serve the community, and the company will support you in doing that. So the note that I wanted to leave you folks with today is this idea of innovating inside and outside the office. We have a very collaborative engineering culture, rapid fire innovation. If you have a great idea, it will be able to rise to the top. You can be building something one month, it'll be in the dealership the next month. Very aggressive release schedule, very ambitious company culture. You can come to dealer.com and do your best work. And that being said, you can come to dealer.com and have a lot of fun innovating and growing your career and your skill set internally and externally. We have hackathons, this very you know, collaborative, agile-based engineering and technology culture. And then we invest pretty heavily in things like the Tech Jam, events like Vermont Hackathon, Vermont Code Camp, Girl Develop It, lots of other kind of community-based innovation, because we believe that, you know, we can't continue to grow and nurture, you know, a world-class technology culture here at dealer.com and in the community. So that's dealer.com.
All right, well, another quick round of applause. Thank you so much to all of our speakers here. And I think what we really need to be really excited about is all the opportunity that's growing in this state, not only in the Burlington area, but statewide, as a lot of these companies had profiled before. Unfortunately, we have run out of time for questions, but I highly encourage you to reach out to the Tech Tank part of the website for Tech Jam. It has all the contact information for all of our speakers listed here. They'll be around for the next couple minutes. Encourage them to give them your email or business cards if they have them, and we'll be moving along into our next section. But thank you again for coming to the Tech Tank this year.